Hello, my name is Kevin Hicks, and I'm your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI, and your host of this daily Arizona State Sun Devils Insider podcast. And I'm so grateful to be joining you on another edition of the Sun Devils Insider podcast. Beautiful Friday afternoon. Arizona State basketball is facing a very consequential weekend ahead, both basketball programs, as the women's program plays a huge home game against the University of Kansas on Saturday, so the day of this recording dropping, while Arizona State men's basketball plays another road game, the second of two on their trip against the number 7 ranked Houston Cougars, who, as we all know, were just seconds away from winning the national title last season. So it's going to be a very big weekend for Sun Devil basketball if Arizona State plays with the grittiness that they did against Arizona on Wednesday night. I'm not going to rule out them having an opportunity to stay in the game with Houston, if not even have a chance to win it. I know Houston's defense is absolutely phenomenal once again, as it seems to be every single season. I know that their offense has a little bit of a higher ceiling this season compared to past years. I still love the way that Arizona State plays. I know that they have flaws on the roster. I know that the depth isn't up to what Bobby Hurley wanted it to be going into the season, but I still feel good about their chances in Big 12 play. I think this team is different than previous seasons. And without further ado, that leads me into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, which I'm going to be discussing the top 5 most impactful transfer portal additions for Arizona State football in the quest to build out the 2026 roster. It's been a busy time for Arizona State football, there's no doubt about it. Moving off of an 8-5 2025 season, quarterback Sam Levitt is now off to LSU to be their starting quarterback for at least one season, if not two. We shall see what happens there. Kenny Dillingham has done it again. He has built up a great transfer portal class, and we are now officially winding down transfer portal season, as Friday is the last day that players can enter the transfer portal. Keep in mind, players can still commit past the transfer portal window closing, in terms of nobody can enter after today, basically. The players that are still in the portal can commit anywhere, but they will not be permitted to practice during spring ball if they do not commit before the windows of signing up for classes close. For example, I believe that the window closes for Arizona State in a few days. So I believe that if you want to participate in spring practices, you're going to have to commit and enroll within this few day period. Besides the point, very, very strong transfer portal class. The position distribution was phenomenal. The players they targeted, there's an intention with every single one of them. I don't think that they left a stone unturned. I think that Kenny Dillingham is really intent on competing for another Big 12 title, contrary to what everybody has said about the program taking a step back. And I think that's proof. The proof is in the pudding with the class that they brought in, and I'm going to name the 5 most impactful players that they added via the portal over the last 2 weeks. At number 5, I do have Lyric Rawls, who is a Kansas transfer safety. Really, really solid career. He had a pretty strong season with Kansas in 2025. He was one of their better defenders. And he's a perfect addition into this Arizona State defense. We all know Brian Ward loves his 4-2-5 sets. I think Rawls is probably figuring to get a substantial amount of playing time alongside Adrian Boogie Wilson, who I also assume will be a starting safety. Once again, it's not going to be easy to replace Miles Ghost Rouser or Xavier Alford, but they proved they can do it. They could do it last season when Boogie Wilson really stepped in and played some inspired football. I also think Josiah McGrew is a really, really good addition, but the emphasis here is going to be on players that make immediate impacts. Uh, I think high end talent and fit, all that stuff matters as well. But I just think that Lyric Rawls probably factors in to a starting role before Josiah McGrew does. And that's not to say that this will end up being the case, because there's a lot of practice to be had and a lot of football to be played before the season opener on September 5th. But I really like the Lyric Rawls edition. I can't say anything else more about that. Uh, Cutter Boley is my number 4. The reason why he isn't higher, because quarterbacks are typically valued higher, and understandably so, is because that I believe that it will be a fierce competition for the starting quarterback position. I think that Mikey Keene, Cameron Dyer, and Jake Fetty will all receive opportunities to start, but there's no denying that Cutter Boley has world-class arm talent. He might even have a better raw arm than Sam Levitt, and I think that that is a really strong addition for Coach Dillingham. I think that that's possibly the addition that the most intention was put into, in terms of identifying a player that's sort of under the radar and really believing in the coaching staff maximizing their talents. And it's just a great ad. It's a low risk, high reward addition. If he doesn't work out, you have several other talented quarterbacks, and it's great. As for my top 3, as you could guess, they are the 4-star transfer portal additions that were brought in. At number 3, I have Boston College receiver Reed Harris. At number 2, I have Colorado State linebacker Owen Long. And at number 1, I have Colorado wide receiver Omarion Miller. So Hines Ward has to absolutely be ecstatic right now with the room that he has. He has a blend of high end, and I mean emphasis on high end receiving talent with Marion Miller and Reed Harris. Both of them complement each other very, very well. Marion Miller looks to profile as something of a Jordan Tyson clone role wise. I'm not going to say he is Jordan Tyson. He isn't a very, very talented receiver that likely got underappreciated at Colorado, and you can line him up anywhere at the line of scrimmage. He can be your traditional X receiver, just so versatile, so talented. And Arizona State fans saw that firsthand. Even though the impact he made in the Arizona State Colorado game wasn't expansive, it was profound in the plays that he did make. And Reed Harris, 6'5" receiver, 20 yards per catch for his career, and now he's going to be playing with a bunch of big armed quarterbacks. That's a match made in heaven. And then you surround them with talents like Jalen Moss, Jaron Hamilton, Derek Eusebio, and then you have a trio of young receivers in Harry Hassman, Uriah Nellums, and Corey Butler Jr. to round out that room. It's Hines Ward is in a phenomenal spot. And then I wanted to wrap up this show talking about Owen Long. Big losses for Arizona State at linebacker. Keyshawn Elliott and Jordan Crook, the 2 starting linebackers over the last 2 seasons, are off to the NFL. Cyrus Fiaseu is getting a final year of college eligibility. Martell Hughes is returning for another season, for his junior season, after breaking onto the scene over the last year and a half or so. And Owen Long is probably going to slot in as a starting backer alongside Martell Hughes, with Cyrus Fiaseu playing the role that he has been playing. Long was a 4-star recruit, like I said, in the transfer portal. Led the nation in tackles last season. Really looks a lot like Keyshawn Elliott in terms of body composition, his well-rounded ability, his nose to find a tackle in the line of behind the line of scrimmage. Uh, just a really well-rounded linebacker, and I don't have any complaints about that. I think AJ Cooper, the linebackers coach, is absolutely thrilled with what he has to work with going into next season. And the Sun Devils, like I said, start their 2026 season on September 5th at home against Morgan State. Until then, I will be covering the lead up into the season, including spring practices, hopefully fall practices, and everything in between. And uh, I will be back with another episode tomorrow previewing Arizona State and Houston's basketball matchup on Sunday afternoon. Until then, take care and thank you so much for tuning in once again today. And I will see you tomorrow.